Incredible is what it is. And incredible is definitely how you would describe it. Somehow, after the performances of the last games, Steve Nash is still employed, and it boggles my mind a little bit because it's like what has to happen for him to lose his job? Like it's almost comical at this point. It's like we're playing a little game. Like what does Steve Nash have to do to be relieved of his job? I mean, it's incredible. Sean Marks in the crowd. We're all the way in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's just getting embarrassed on national TV, and it's like, at what point do you just pull the plug on this? Now, I'm not saying pull the plug. Well, I am saying pull the plug on the season, but that is what I am saying. That's not what Nets Republic is saying. That's what Sever the Bond is saying. I have personally given up, but in terms of just competency as an organization, I'm starting to wonder what's going on with not Steve Nash, excuse me, Mr. Sean Marks. And again, I know it is sacrilegious to speak ill of Sean Marks in net circles. I understand that, but there's just a couple of things that you view upon that it just confuses you just ever so. Like, let's start with the fact that you have the living embodiment and the literal individual who we should have been chasing in free agency. You know, we saw what he did with Kevin Durant in the Olympics, and yet we just let him go to Phoenix for some reason, and it dumbfounds me. I don't understand how you can sit there and watch JaVale McGee do the stuff he's doing. That is who we should have had in Brooklyn. I don't know why we let him go. And there's a laundry list. I mean, your Whitesides. I would have settled for Dwight Howard. I mean, like, there is a laundry list of individuals that the Nets just said, we'll be fine. We got Patty Mills. And again, no shot at Patty Mills. Patty's incredible. It's just we needed a center bad. Because we didn't know LaMarcus was coming back until like halfway through September. But like, that was a last minute addition. We ain't know homie was coming back like that. So we still needed a replacement center, and they weren't sold on Claxton last year, just like they don't seem to be sold on him this year. I believe Claxton started. You start Claxton. He's not doing amazing out there, but if you have James Harden, you want to have someone he can lob to. That's just how James Harden plays. For some reason in the second half, they bench Claxton and let Blake Griffin take all the minutes. Now, in theory, Sever the Bond has no issue with Blake getting a bulk of the minutes. But when he's out there against Aiden, it's like, well, let's try to be smart about this, especially when you have multiple combinations. Maybe Blake Griffin at the 4 so he can continue to roll and get even more dunks and hit a couple more threes or something like that, and then put Day'Ron Sharpe out there to try and match bully with bully. Wrong word, because I've called Blake a bully on multiple occasions. Muscle and strength and big bonedness, no Eric Cartman, with muscle and strength and big boneness with DeAndre Ayton. We saw no such thing. We didn't see Day'Ron Sharpe until the literal end of the game, when Steve Nash had, again, in a literal sense, given up and pulled the plug on the game with the blue 2 minutes left. He also had the noble decision, James Harden was back, he had the noble decision of having James Harden sit on the bench until about the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter, just letting Kyrie go to Karis LeVert offensive land, which again is great, but as we've discussed on multiple times, and I don't know how many more times I have to say this, you'll always act so surprised when I do, Kyrie's offensive greatness alone does not equate to wins. It never has, and it most likely never will, especially part-time Kyrie. Now, that's no shot at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie's incredible. Some of the shots he's hitting, I mean, it doesn't even make sense how they're going in. And God, was he getting fouled aggressively, and the refs just swallowed their whistle. Again, another game where the refs are just, like, ignoring the fact that, like, When the opposing team sees the Nets trying to score, we just hear CM Punk in the distance scream, "It's clobbering time." And I mean, folks is just getting GTS and Anaconda Viced and everything, and Shining Wizards are going around. I mean, you can literally bring a sledgehammer into the arena and just clock Harden over the top of the head with it, and they won't call a thing. But if we sneeze in the direct, it's a pandemic bad example. If we breathe, it's a pandemic bad example. If we slightly brush the shoulder of the other team fighting for a position or simply walking to the other side of the court, it is a foul on us. Possibly a flagrant. Possibly a flagrant. I'm going to avoid the trash talking of Chris Paul, which I could do, but this is Nets Republic, and I want to be classy with it, so I'll ignore that. I will have a random shout out, though. Shout out to Elfrid Payton. I mean, some of the passes he does and the full court defense, I love me some Elfrid Payton. So it was cool to see him out there, and it's a little weird that he's out there on the same team as Jay Crowder. And, you know, who would have thought that Jay Crowder and Elfrid Payton would be on the same team? They seem to be on good terms. I mean, I didn't really see them interact at any point, but that is... No Pusha T, if you know, you know, but that's neither here nor there. But back to the Nets being the Nets. Harden played all right, I guess. I don't want to know what his point total is because I feel like I'm going to rip out my locks if I do. But, I mean, from the standpoint of running the team, and that's about it. I felt like he did a good job running point. So shout out to him. He got to literally just like mirror the actions of Chris Paul, so we got to watch him up close and personal again, just in case he forgot some stuff from the Houston days. So now he can be even more of a point guard, because that seems to be what Harden's after nowadays, but that is neither here nor there. I mean, he hit the Shikamaru shadow, is it possession or paralysis? I'm so tired because it was another 10 o'clock game. I can't remember the name of the references, but y'all know the shadow joint that Shikamaru be doing on Naruto, and it's like, you like imitate it or whatever. I should have went with the Sharingan example. That would have been easier to describe. Copycat Ninja, he's copying Chris Paul. I should have just went with the Sharingan example. Forget the last minute of this video. He was doing his best Kakashi impression and was just copying what Chris Paul was doing. Again, what he ended with point total wise, I don't even want to know because I'll be bald, but he played well at the point guard position. So him, Alfie, and Chris Paul all did a good job running point. And Chris Paul is such an amazing flopper. What a wonderful flopper that man is. But I won't speak ill of that man because this is Nets Republic and we are professional and positive. Ooh. I was going to make an acronym for that, but we won't do that because we are professional and positive, but that is neither here nor there. What else do you want me to say? Do you want me to get on here and just grab a literal towel and just throw it on the floor and say, I give up? Because I can do that if you want. Like, what would you like me to say? The fact that we had Harden and Kyrie and we still lost, I don't know what you want me to say. Now, it's the Suns. They have 41 wins, which, what team has 40 wins? Like, we haven't even gotten to 30 yet, but that's not here nor there. Shout out to them with their 11-game win streak. They haven't lost 10 games yet. Must be nice, 41-9, Jesus Christ. Shout out to them and everything that they're doing. I do think it might be a little bit humorous if, like, the entire state of Arizona just fails in the playoffs again. You know, if you look to last year, you know, the Sun lost to Milwaukee and, you know, the Mercury lost to Chicago. So, you know, it would be humorous if history repeated themselves. But that's the hurt talking. That's the hurt talking. I'm just upset that we got spanked. And again, it's some of the same general things. When you don't have a coach that is going to call any form of a play, we're just out there trying to see if we can outscore the other opponent through pick and rolls and ISO. And again, Kyrie can go off, but if he is the only one doing so, What do you expect? Decent game from Patty offensively. Blake Griffin played cool. Like, I don't even have the energy to, like, be pounding my chest and be like, oh, Blake did blah, blah. Because it's like, bro, who even cares? Like, we've lost, like, 5 games in a row. Like, are we the 7th seed now? Like, I'm personally having issues getting on here and having something positive to say because it's like, I just feel so trash. I feel like my team is, like, betraying me. But I don't know, yo. I don't know. The Suns are very good, so you could argue we were probably going to lose anyway, but I just don't have that type of mentality. With James Harden and Kyrie, when there's 2 of them, I just don't buy that we lose games. When 2 of them are out there, like, are you going to tell me that, like, Chris Paul and Devin Booker are better than Kyrie and James Harden? I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. Yeah, Devin Booker had like 30-something points, but anytime we tried to play defense, the refs just immediately called it a foul. And we don't really play defense to begin with nowadays, so, you know, what did you think was going to happen? You know, when you have a couple switches where it's poor Blake Griffin on Devin Booker, what do you think the result's going to be? When you have, you know, Kyrie or James Harden matched up against him, what do you think was going to happen? And again, this is kind of like any time that we played the Bucks. If Devin Booker's going to go off, I don't know of anyone who can stop him. Same thing with Giannis. If Giannis is going to go out there and drop 50, I don't think there's anything we can do about that. Just like for other teams, if Harden starts going off or Kyrie really gets deep in his bag or Kevin Durant is his normal self, you're not stopping that. So, with Booker, sure, we don't have anyone to stop that. But I don't think Chris Paul's game offensively or defensively is better than James Harden's offense better than James Harden's offense. I would venture to say James Harden's offense is better than anything Chris Paul has ever done or achieved. And I don't think that's a hot take. Now, why James is choosing to not score and why he can't seem to hit open shots and why he seems to be very obsessed with catching the calls and the fouls instead of just focusing on winning the game is beyond me, but you know how this goes. Tomorrow he'll drop 75 points against the Kings, and it'll be, oh, Houston Harden's back. Then he'll drop 10, and it'll just be that fluctuating roller coaster. But the thing I have with James Harden, right? The thing I have with, and I'm trying to lay off of Steve Nash this video because I could really make every video just about Steve Nash. But the issue I have with Harden is if you look at Kyrie, right? Kyrie has no issue scoring. And y'all might disagree with me, but again, I hold Kevin Durant and James Harden to a very, very high degree. If we're speaking pure offense and ability to score, like whole body type, when we're talking pound for pound, like Iverson is one of the best scorers ever, but pound for pound, obviously Kobe and Michael Jordan are better because they're taller and bigger, right? We're not speaking on skill. We're just talking about overall stuff. I'm copping these plays because I'm about to say something really controversial here. My issue is that if you compare a James Harden to a Kyrie Irving, offensively, I'm taking Harden. But for some reason, I'm not seeing this version of Harden that I have in my mind. Because Kyrie can go out there and drop 30 plus, and he's getting fouled up, but he'll still hit the shot, whether he goes to the foul line or not. Why doesn't James Harden have the same mentality, especially when you're on the same team? And let me jump in front of another narrative, because some people try to get real spicy, like I don't be seeing this, but that's not the end of there. Ooh, why is it always you try to put those two players against each other? They're on the same team. I'm not pitting anyone against each other. I'm simply trying to figure out what's going on. The same way that Steve Nash is going to refuse to challenge calls where Chris Paul is literally doing exactly what James Harden was doing, and they're calling fouls on Kessler Edwards and them, but Steve Nash won't say a word, but Harden gets like hit with a semi, like, and The refs don't say a word and Steve Nash won't do anything. And it's that type of comparison of, well, my player can do, someone on my team can do this, and it's a negative. I don't understand how Harden doesn't have the same mentality when it comes to his offense. Kyrie is on your team. It's not like it's someone on the other team positively attacking the rim and getting to his spots, not caring about the fouls. This is someone on your team. You are watching Kyrie doing this, and you're still worried about getting the fouls. How many times was Harden going like this on the other side of the court while the rest of the team is sprinting back on defense? Does Kyrie do stuff like that? I mean, if he's knocked to the floor and doesn't hit the shot, I mean, it's going to take him a second to get up. But it's not like someone slaps him on the arm and he just completely stops moving, looking for a foul. Like, that's literally, I'm not going to call that foul baiting, but that's looking for the call. Just finish the shot. And it's not like Harden's going to hit the free throws if he goes there anyway. You've been seeing how he's been shooting from the line this year as it is. So just finish the shot, bro. And it's like, we know he can do it. There'll be games where he's a freight train going to the rim and can't nobody stop him. But then there's other games where it's like he doesn't even want to put forth... I don't want to say he's not putting forth the effort, because that's not fair to James Harden, and I can't make that assumption on someone I don't know, I'm not physically out there with. I can't make that assumption as a bum on my couch. However, it would appear that he's not going as hard, no pun intended, as he could, and as he does in other games. Now, he's coming off of the hand injury, so maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. But because this is the same Harden that played with a severe hamstring injury in the playoffs last year. So I don't buy the whole he's nursing an injury and he doesn't want to be as aggressive. Harden literally put his career on the line to try and save us last year and help KD. So I don't know if I buy that narrative. But let me chill, let me stop, because I could legitimately go on for another 20 minutes, and it's just not worth it. Especially when we have a game tomorrow, it's just not that worth it. All you need to know is, if you didn't watch the game, 1, I'm jealous, 2, it was kind of close because Kyrie's incredible, and 3, we lost. That's all you need to know. Does it matter whose fault it is? Not really at this point. We just, honestly, I think the best way to go about the rest of the season, or at least until Kevin Durant comes back, is I think we should just enjoy the fact that the Nets are playing. I bring this up every now and again, but this is our first full season in about 2 years, like 2 calendar years. So let's just enjoy the fact that we've watched 50 plus games of basketball this season, and there's still like 30 more. My math is terrible. I might be off on that, but there's like 30 something more. So let's just enjoy the fact that we get to watch the Nets for a really long amount of time. That's my positive spin for you, because I've got nothing else positive to say. And I'm going to end this video before I get fired. So I'll see y'all tomorrow when we play the Kings. I assume they'll win that game. I bet you Harden goes off and we're all screaming Houston Harden, but it is what it is. See y'all tomorrow. 7th Bond. Nets Republic. Yeah.